Hi everyone, this is Duplex. Welcome back. In the last episode, we finished setting up the aluminum production and the copper wire production for the first part of the Phase 4 factory. And as you can see, I added in a sink for the aluminum parts so that we can take advantage of the overflow. We've got industrial containers, which are completely full at this point. Yeah, so we're in good shape. And then over here, this is where we're making the copper wire. And, I'm not storing this or putting it into a dimensional depot because we've already done that a long time ago when we did, phase 1 or whatever it was. So we're in good shape here. And what I would like to do next is start building the batteries that we will be using for drones. So let us begin. We're going to do that with 2 manufacturers. So I'll start by setting up these machines. And I'm going to leave lots of room here because we've got 4 different inputs that we're going to need to manage here. So it'll make it a little bit easier if we have plenty of room to run belts and splitters and so forth. So I'm going to put these 2 side by side right there, let's say. And the recipe that I'm using is not here yet because I haven't accepted the recipe. So give me a second to do that. The one I'm looking for is called Simple Battery. At least I think that's what it's called. No. Classic battery. That's what it was. Classic battery. Right. So the normal recipe uses, nitrogen gas, sulfuric acid, and aluminum. And then you get more fluids out. It's okay to use that recipe, I suppose, but I like this alternate because it deals only with solid ingredients. You don't have to run fluids or anything. I'm not sure how it is as far as efficiency of power or materials, but it's certainly easier to build. So that's why I like it. So we'll do the classic battery. That's going to give us 30 minutes each machine. So we'll have 100 per minute coming out once we get all that taken care of. So let's run power. I'll just put one there. Oh, no, let's not make it so close. I don't want it to clip through the front of the machine. Okay, and then this we can hook up back here. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, now to feed 4 materials in. What's the easiest way to do this? Now, several of these materials are already up here. So I don't necessarily want to go back down below to pull them in. But the plastic we are going to have to bring in from the logistics floor because we need to bring it in from the train station. So what we can do for that is I'll just place some of those, some floor holes. We'll need 60 per minute each one, so a Mark 1 will serve our purposes. Okay, and then the other ingredients we can bring in. Up top here. Or maybe I don't want to. Yeah, you know what? The wire's already going down below. Yeah, so let's go ahead and do. Let's go ahead and do this. I'm gonna hold off. We'll figure it out. But for now, I do have the sulfur up top already, so I'll just bring the sulfur over and we'll feed that in. All right, so I'll just put a splitter here. And then we can use Mark 1s to go there. And these are going to each take 45 per minute. We're mining 90 a minute, so this will feed exactly what we need for the sulfur. All right, so let's cut a hole in the floor here, and we'll figure out the rest of it. All right, now this first one, yeah, that was going to be for the plastic. So we'll need to bring plastic over. Let's deal with the wire. Yeah, you know, I think I will just grab the wire from up here. So let's do that next. Wire's going to be 90 a minute. So we'll do a Mark II. Okay, and I'll just put a splitter there. Yeah, 90 plus 90, so that'll be 180. So yeah, a Mark III belt going in. And then I'll just take this. Now, for the copper wire, how much are we making here? We're making 644 per minute. So let's put a splitter right here. This is going to be a Mark V belt. Okay, and then I'll throw a Mark III. Like so. And then feed a Mark III belt in. Okay, so that should take care of our needs for wire. All right, and then the plastic and aluminum sheet. Yeah, plastic and aluminum sheet. We'll do that underneath. Okay, and those can both be Mark 1s. Okay, let's do the aluminum sheet first since we've got that. Yeah, so I'll put a splitter right here. Should that be a smart splitter? I'll just make it a smart splitter just in case. Okay, so I'll have any going out the, what is that, the right side. Okay. And we're making these 240 a minute. So a Mark III belt coming out will be enough. And what was my total again? 52.5 times 2, that's 105 a minute total. So we can do Mark II. Whoops, let's reverse that. There we go. Okay. And then down here, I will run it along the ceiling. And then the plastic will bring in at floor level, like so. Okay, so I'll put a splitter there, and then the other splitter I'll place here with the input on the back side. Oh no, I can't go on the back side, can I? I think that'll work. We might have some clipping here, but I think that's okay. Yeah, it'll clip a little bit here, but you know, the other thing we could do is we can bring this to ground level as well, and we can just have that facing the other direction. Let's just do that. Okay. And then instead of coming down through the ceiling, we'll come down like this. Okay, and then we can place the splitter on the ground. Like that. So that should take care of the aluminum. Okay. Yeah, and then we need plastic. So let's get the plastic and the rubber brought down. Now in this case, we're just going to have one belt of each, but let's just double check on the modeler. So plastic in total, we're going to have 120 plus another 82, so 200. All right, so we'll do Mark III. We'll do a Mark III belt for the plastic. And for the rubber, 285. That's going to need a Mark IV. I'll just do Mark IV for both. Oh, that's the wrong one. We need the blue one. There we go. Okay, Mark IV. Mark IV. I remember. I remember what I wanted to do. Okay. Let me do this again. I'll put one here, and we'll put the other one there. Okay. Okay, here's the plastic. Now I need to jump over, so let's do this here. Okay. Now this is not the only use of plastic here, so I'll place a splitter, and then I'll grab what I need here. Now for the batteries, I need 120, so we can make this a Mark II belt. Okay, and a splitter right there. And then we can split that into 2 Mark 1 belts. And that should take care of it. All right, let's go see. This should hopefully get these machines up and running now. Just gotta wait for the plastic to work its way through. Okay, so we'll close that up. Give him whatever plastic I've got left over here. And then once we have some batteries coming in, we will be able to start playing with drones, which should be quite fun. All right, there we go. So this will give me 60 a minute batteries. So let's merge these together. And I'm going to send these into a industrial storage. My thinking here is that we'll probably need more than 60 batteries per minute in short bursts, you know, so I want to build up a buffer of batteries, basically. So this will allow me to do that. And I'm going to grab a couple of stacks of plastic just so I can fill up those machines. Unfortunately, I have a train sitting here now, so it's not going to let me access these containers. So what I'll do is I'll just come in here and I'll say cancel docking. And that'll make the train leave the station and go on another loop. Okay. Although I guess I could have just gotten the plastic from the cloud, but didn't think of that. All right, so load that one up. Oh, I thought I got 2 stacks. Plastic. There. Okay. So this looks very good. I don't know if I really need batteries for personal use, but we'll go ahead and we'll throw some into the dimensional depot just in case. So if we need batteries at some point and we're not here, we'll be able to grab them. Okay, so let's think about drones now. Let me put down a drone port. Ooh, missing materials. Okay, I need... What are those things? Okay. What is that? Is that a radio control unit? Yes, radio control unit. Okay, we need radio control units. So, I'm gonna buy some. Because I have plenty of coupons. And to start with, I only need a couple of these things. There we go. So this will give me 50. Not cheap.
Parts purchase confirmed. Promotion delayed by X times part value plus fix-it stock value.
Okay, there we go. All right, so here's a drone port. So what I'm planning to do as far as the batteries are concerned is feed all the drone ports in this part of the factory with batteries directly from this production. The drones will be, you know, for every pair of roboports or of drone ports, sorry, you're going to have one drone between the two of them. So I'm going to build all the drones here so that they'll start off with a full load of batteries. You only need to provide fuel on one end because they calculate how much fuel they need for the round trip, and they take it at the point that they depart from. So we don't need to have batteries on both ends. So as long as I'm sending drones from here to fetch materials and then bring back, I can manage all my drone port needs with batteries just here. So that's my intention. And to actually place the drone ports, I think I will do those. I'm going to build some more foundation off to the side here because I want them, you know, I'm going to be building vertically here as we do the subsequent parts of this phase 4 build. So I'll build the drone ports off to the side here so that they have an unobstructed vertical space so that they can take off and land. Now, is 5 tiles going to be enough? Yeah, I think it probably will be. And we can set them all the way out. Whoops. We can set them all the way out like this. All right, so the first one is going to be for nitrogen. And that's what I'm hoping to set up today. Yeah, so we'll just start with one here. Yeah, okay, that looks cool. How much power does this use? 100 megawatts. Okay. Let's run some power. Okay. And then we will build a drone and place that there. All right. So now we need to give it some fuel. And the fuel goes in this port, and then this is where you send and receive the materials that you want. Now, the next question is, do I run... Yeah, I think I'll run the batteries on the surface here, and then the inputs and outputs, we can either go down into a logistics floor, or we can go up, you know, to the... Yeah, I have plenty of room to expand the logistics floor underneath, so... Yeah, so we'll run the batteries up top here. And I'm going to leave enough space that we can have some of these. Yeah, so I'll put the splitter like so. And actually, let's make this a Mark III belt. I mean, I know that I'm only making 60 a minute, but with the Mark III belt, I'll be able to fill up the fuel ports more quickly when they need material. Ew, okay, I guess I'm still sending batteries up there, so let's just cut that for a bit. This is kind of slow, isn't it? 30 a minute. 30 a minute. Should add up to 60 a minute, which is what I have right there. Why is this going so slowly? All right. Yeah, I think once this catches up, then we can go back to 60 a minute. But I'll just leave that Mark II there. Okay. You know what? Let's do that with a Mark III as well. Okay. Okay, that's full. So I'll throw the other batteries back in here. And then we can set this up again. Okay, so we are all set to, to start flying the drone. So let's see where we are going to get the nitrogen from. And we looked at the map last time. There's nitrogen up here. We're over here right now, more or less. Yeah, and like I said before, I'm pretty sure that that's the closest. Although with drones, the distance I think is not terribly important. But it's convenient to reach this because it's at ground level, and we can grab power connection from here to run the drone port. So let's go over there and let's set up the nitrogen extraction and get that all set up. So to do that, we're going to need to go to the to the northwest corner, and I think we can probably get there fairly quickly just by launching ourselves. So let me get out the launcher. This will be quicker than, this will be quicker than traveling back to, on the tubes. So, all right, put down my coffee. Here we go. Oh, look at that. There's more geothermal down there. And the nitrogen is over here somewhere. There it is. All right. So let's run power over. Okay. All right. So here's the nitrogen, and this works in a similar fashion as the as the oil well. I just want to take these out first, so I don't deplete my gas mask or my filters while we're just goofing around here. All right. Let's see. I think I'm probably going to want to build a platform above this. Yeah, I'll build a platform above it. It doesn't necessarily need to be grid aligned, but I'll do that anyway. So let's go vertical. Let's see how tall this extractor is. I don't quite remember. Resource well pressurizer. Okay. Yeah, this will be a good height. Okay, so we'll build up here. Let's throw down a couple foundation layers. That should be more than enough space. Okay. So we'll get this fed. Now how much nitrogen do we need? We're going to need 195 per minute. So this will definitely give us more than what we need. All right, so let's load in the extractors. How much do I get with this one? This one will give me 120, so it looks like probably just with 2 of these we should be all set. I'll just aim them towards each other. Yeah, so that'll give me 240, and then we can underclock this. So I need 190. They all scale down though. All right, so if I underclock it, then I need all the extractors hooked up. How much power does this thing consume? Yeah, okay. It's probably worth it to underclock it. Alright, let's get the rest of these hooked up then. Alright, so we'll grab some pipe. And I'm just going to start by connecting some of these together. And then we'll throw junctions on. I think we'll need another one here. This will be a little bit messy, but as long as it works. Okay. I think that's all of it. Now, the nice thing about the nitrogen or any other gas is that you don't need to use pumps for elevation, because you're just pressurizing the pipe. It's the pressure inside the pipe that determines the flow rate. I mean, I guess that's probably true of liquids as well, but you don't have to fight with gravity with the gas. Right? So you can see this is already flowing. All right. And I think I'll throw a buffer tank up here. The small one I think will be plenty. Okay, yeah, and so we can see that the tank is filling up. Now with the gases, it doesn't show you like a liquid level that fills up. It just gets, you just see like this cloud, and it gets, how do you say? It gets more and more visible, I guess, as it fills up. So, okay, so from here, we are going to need a packager. And a single packager will be enough. And we are going to package nitrogen gas. Let me also place a storage container for empties. And this is going to use 60 a minute. So I'll throw all my empty tanks in there. And then we hook that up there. Okay, and then we have all the rest of the space for the drone port. There we go. $60 a minute. Okay. Okay, so the way this is going to work, we're going to get, the drone is going to come here. It'll pick up the outgoing stuff, which are the full bottles that we're placing inside. And then on the return trip, I'll have it bring empty bottles back. So we'll need to collect the empty bottles on the other end and send those back. Now, how do we do that? We'll have to figure that out. All right. So this port is not going to have a destination, but I do want to change the name. All right. So this is nitrogen out. Or I'll just call it nitrogen to be consistent with the other stuff. Okay, and then this is the other port. Can I manage it from here? It doesn't look like it. All right, so this will be the destination for the other port. Okay. All right, and this can only hold 6. This can only hold 18 stacks. I think this should be fine. This holds 24, right? Okay. Tell you what, I'm just going to take, like, I'll take a few stacks of these empty canisters, and we'll take that back with us. And then I'll try to get this programmed from the other end. Oh, look, there's a drone. Where'd he come from? All right, so he should then pick up the packaged nitrogen. Yeah, and then we'll just put the empty canisters into the outgoing section of the other drone port. But first, let's just watch this and see what happens. All right, so there it's getting loaded. And then it'll take off. Okay, yeah, so we can see that it picked up whatever was in there. And it'll continue on its merry way. Okay, so let's head back. Now, I don't want to place a launcher here because I'm not planning to go back. I'm not planning to come back here unless there's a problem. So we'll just take the tube back. And then we'll go back to phase 4 factory and we'll see how things look on the other end. Okay. All right, so let's rename this one now. So we'll call this P4 nitrogen. And we can see that the canisters have been delivered already. And then I'm going to put the empties here in the outgoing section. Just so we can see that those get taken back on the return trip. Or on the outbound trip, we should say. All right, now if we look at the map, I think we can see, oh, here comes the drone. There it is. So it should hopefully be dropping off some more full ones. I don't know if we can see it in real time. Yeah, so it picked up the ones that I had. If it did drop some off, I think it wasn't very many. So, what I'm seeing here is that this is going to use 2.8 batteries a minute. 2.82 batteries per minute. Okay, and we are making 60 per minute. So I think, yeah, so I think we're going to be in good shape with batteries. Of course, as we add more and more of these, our consumption is going to increase quite a bit, but you can see that it's not using a whole lot. Round trip time 3.1 minutes, right? 7.73 batteries per trip. So at least we know. Now you can use lots of different types of fuel, including packaged fuel. This would be a fairly cheap one to make since we're already making fuel in plastic, right? But you can see that the consumption rate is quite a bit higher for packaged fuel and packaged turbo fuel. Batteries only use 0.077 per minute. Once you get into the more expensive fuel types, it gets more and more efficient. Plutonium fuel rods, 0 per minute. So does that mean you give it one fuel rod and it never needs fuel again? Perhaps. Not quite sure. But, yeah. But in the past, I've always used batteries. And I'm not making rocket fuel or ionized fuel or any of this other stuff. So batteries right now are the best fuel source that we have available for this particular job. Okay, so we're good with the nitrogen. And then we will that's going in, and this is coming out. Actually, let me double check. Okay, yeah, we're going to be using 48.75 bottles a minute. So Mark 1s are going to be fine for both directions. And it'll take a while for this to fill up. So if it takes 3 minutes, we're using 48 a minute. We should be bringing in close to 150 per trip. And I'm making 60 per minute. Yeah, I'm making 60 per minute. So actually we should be bringing in a little over 180 per trip, which is about 2 stacks. And this seems to be about what we're getting. So as far as I can tell, everything is going okay with the drone there. All right. So now that we have that done, let's see what's remaining in the first part of phase 4. So what we have left to do is we need to build stators and rotors and motors. We're going to be exporting all 3. We need to use some of them to build motors with, but we also need rotors and stators as individual components in the subsequent stages. So we'll be exporting all 3 of those from this part of the factory. And then I also need to set up the quartz and silica production. Those will all be used in subsequent parts of the factory. And then we'll be done with this first part. So we will finish that up in the next episode. And in the meantime, we can just have some fun watching the drones taking off and landing. So hope you enjoy that as much as I do. I'll see y'all next time. Take care.